afternoon on this Monday, December 16th. I'm Yumna Naufal, and here's today's headlines. Lebanese leaders condemned the attacks on the army in Saida, defending the military as the shield of security and sovereignty. UNIFIL is chairing an urgent tripartite meeting with senior military officers from Lebanon and Israel a day after a soldier kills a member of an Israeli border patrol. And caretaker Transport and Public Works Minister Ghazi Aridi resigns from the resigned government. The army identified the assailants of one of the attacks on the military in Saida, saying, however, that 2 suspects have escaped. A communique said that 3 suspects were passing on foot through a checkpoint at Al-Awali Bridge in Saida's entrance at 9 p.m. yesterday when a soldier asked for their identification papers. One of the suspects, who remains unidentified, threatened him with a grenade, which blew up when the soldier opened fire on him. Soldiers found in his pocket another grenade, which was defused by the military expert. The other 2 suspects were able to escape, the communique said, adding the investigation is underway to find out their ties with another attack that took place in Saida about 45 minutes later. The assault in the Majda'alyoun area at 9:45 came after the army erected a checkpoint there following the first attack. The army communique said that Baha'uddin Muhammad al-Sayyid, a Palestinian, got off an envoy 4-wheeler and blew himself up after embracing Sergeant Samir Rizit. Al-Sayyid and Rizit were killed and a soldier was injured. UNIFIL chairs an urgent tripartite meeting with senior military officers from Lebanon and Israel a day after a Lebanese soldier killed a member of an Israeli border patrol. Sources in the border town of Naouda told the Daily Star the meeting at the UN peacekeeping headquarters is likely to take place this afternoon. The head of UNIFIL's force commander in Lebanon, Magistral General Paolo Serra, will chair the meeting to discuss the fatal Sunday evening shooting. According to the Israeli military, the soldier was killed by a Lebanese army sniper as he drove along the border. Israeli spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner said the Jewish state had protested this outrageous breach of Israel's sovereignty with UNIFIL. There has not been any official Lebanese statement in response to the border incident yet. Meanwhile, Israeli warplanes flew at low altitudes above the coast of Naouda as 2 pilotless jets hovered over the Blue Line, which is the border demarcation between Lebanon and Israel. Caretaker Transport and Public Works Minister Ghazi Aridi says he will stop performing his ministerial duties as part of the resigned government. Aridi's resignation comes right after he gave his testimony over allegations he made of embezzlement at the Public Works Ministry following flooding and road closures earlier this month. Aridi arrived at the Justice Palace for a hearing with financial prosecutor Judge Ali Ibrahim, who summoned him along with caretaker Minister Muhammad al-Safadi last week. Aridi and Safadi engaged in a war of words over the failure to perform maintenance on drainage networks across the country before and ahead of winter storms. Aridi blamed Safadi for the floods, saying the finance minister refused to approve the Public Works Ministry's funds as an attempt to pressure him into endorsing an illegal construction by the finance minister. Safadi dismissed such claims and said they were part of a political campaign against him. The Defense Office of the Special Tribunal for Lebanon is set to include allegations by Bo Astrom to highlight the flaws in the international investigation. The Nahar newspaper reports that the Astrom's claims will be material for the Defense Office, which will focus on the flaws of the investigation and to thwart off the theories adopted by prosecutor Norman Farrell. Astrom, a veteran Swedish police investigator who worked under former chief UN investigator Detlef Mehlis in the case of the 2005 assassination of former Prime Minister Rafiq al-Halili, told Al Jadid television last week that Brigadier General Wissam al-Hassan was absent from Hariri's convoy on the day of the assassination. Hassan, who is the chief of the Intelligence Bureau of the Internal Security Forces, was assassinated last year, and he had never been before absent from escorting the former PM. The STL trial chamber also announced that the pre-trial conference will be starting on January 9th, 2014. Speaker Nabih Berri says there is no dispute between him and President Michel Sleiman. As he noted, it is too early to discuss the presidential elections due next year. Berri told Al Jamhuriya Daily that the ties are very well with the president. There are no disputes at all, saying, quote, "I have contacted him before he headed to Paris to check on his health. The speaker's remarks came as a dismissive response to some media reports saying that he had allegedly launched verbal attacks against the president. But he also said that he has not received any requests from Sulaiman concerning the extension of his presidential term. The next presidential elections are due in May of next year. Syrian government air raids using barrel bombs on rebel-controlled areas of Syria's second city of Aleppo at the weekend killed at least 76 people, including 28 children. Activists are reporting that 4 women were also among the dead a day after regime helicopters dropped barrels filled with explosives on civilian rebel-held districts in the northern city. A previous toll from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which relies on the network of activists, lawyers, and medics for its information, put the number of killed at 36, among them 15 children. Footage uploaded by local activists on social media showed a fire in a narrow street covered in debris and dust after one air raid in the Karam el-Beik district. Other videos showed people carrying the injured in blankets and bulldozers, removing debris in a destroyed neighborhood. Near the capital, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the death toll has risen to 28 people in the town of Adra, northeast of Damascus. Coming up next, global superstar Mariah Carey takes us into her apartment in New York City for a sneak peek at her Christmas tree. Stay with us. Welcome back. Militants detonate a car bomb at the Tikrit City Council headquarters and occupy the building with employees inside as violence continues to lash across Iraq, leaving 24 people dead. Security forces from both the army and police deployed around the city council building in Tikrit and ordered all government employees in the city to go home for the day. The attack comes after suicide bombers attacked police stations in the town of Baiji, which, like Tikrit, is located in Salahuddin province. One bomber detonated a car bomb at the gate of the station, after which 3 entered, shot dead an officer and a policeman, and waited at the station. SWAT forces then attacked, killing one of the militants, while the other 2 blew themselves up, killing 3 policemen. Violence elsewhere in the country has killed a further 11 people. And almost 2 million people are displaced in Sudan's Darfur region, giving a new figure for the region where violence has worsened this year. This is according to the United Nations. Well, according to the organization, an estimated 1.9 million people have been internally displaced, and close to 1.3 million are severely affected and or food insecure. The UN has already said that at least 460,000 people were displaced by fighting this year. The number dislocated previously during the region's 10-year-old conflict had been unclear, but was in excess of 1 million. European Union foreign ministers reiterate the bloc's willingness to strike a historic partnership deal with Ukraine, but maintain the ball is still in Kiev's court. Upon arriving for talks in Brussels with his 27 EU counterparts, German Foreign Minister Guido Westerwelle expressed hope that Ukraine would sign the association agreement. Sweden's Foreign Minister Carl Bildt said they were ready to sign as soon as Kiev gave them the signal. Ministers, one after the other, urged Ukraine to resist pressure from Russia to turn east rather than west, a day after the EU's Enlargement Commission, Stefan Füle, said Brussels was halting talks on how to implement the deal, failing clarity from Kiev. British Foreign Secretary William Hague insisted on the importance of not pressuring the Ukrainian government, adding that closer links between Ukraine and the EU would be in the interests of Eastern Europe, including Russia. And on to China, where 16 people are killed in a clash in the Xinjiang region, home to the mostly Muslim Uyghur ethnic minority, less than 2 months after a fiery attack in Tiananmen Square. The Chenanshet news portal, which is run by the Xinjiang government, reported that police attempting to detain criminal suspects were attacked by several, what they claim are thugs, armed with explosive devices and knives. 2 police officers were killed and 14 of the thugs shot dead, it said, adding that 2 criminal suspects were detained. Other recent attacks around Xinjiang have been described by Beijing as terrorism linked to separatists backed by the militant East Turkestan Islamic movement. Xinjiang, a vast area bordering Pakistan and Central Asia in China's far west, beyond the furthest reaches of the Great Wall, has followed Islam for centuries. Left-wing candidate Michelle Bachelet is re-elected as Chile's president, capturing roughly 62% of the vote, the highest proportion any presidential candidate has won since the country returned to holding democratic elections in 1989. The pediatrician turned politician's efforts to improve health care and to bridge step economic inequality paved the way for her to succeed. A victim of torture under the dictatorship of General Augusto Pinochet and a single mother of three, Bachelet was one of conservative Chile's most unusual presidents since its return to democracy in the 1980s. The socialist who led Chile between 2006 and 2010 is seeking to push ahead with wide-reaching policies, including a hike in corporate taxes to pay for social reforms. And Irish actor Peter O'Toole, the star of the 1962 Oscar-winning epic Lawrence of Arabia, is demised at 81 years old. The hell-raising icon of stage and screen died on Saturday at London's Wellington Hospital after a long illness. Reactions and condolences poured in from both the political and entertainment worlds. Irish President Michael D. Higgins said it was with great sadness that he heard of O'Toole's death, and British Prime Minister David Cameron offered his condolences to O'Toole's family and friends. Comedian Stephen Fry called the actor's death terrible news. The son of an Irish bookmaker, O'Toole was born in 1932 and raised in northern England. After making a name in theater, his big break in cinema arrived in the form of David Lean's 1962 desert epic Lawrence of Arabia, which went on to win 7 Oscars. O'Toole was unsuccessfully nominated a further 6 times before being given the honorary award in 2003. And finally, global superstar Mariah Carey has a fun life, and she's blessed with a remarkable voice. But this holiday season, the woman behind the classic All I Want for Christmas Is You opens her Manhattan doors to reveal what her Christmas tree looks like and why she is the queen of this festive holiday. Here's a sneak peek at why it would be fun to be Mariah.
Mariah is injured, and so we're going to navigate something here. We've got video.
So thank you for tolerating my ensemble with the robe.
It's your house.
It's my house. I would have provided you with the negligee as well, but next time.
No, you said people would start to talk if I showed up in pajamas. We don't want to be the tabloid. Okay, hang on, Mariah. We're going to show some video of Mariah's tree while we make the diva move to the tree. Now, tell me a little bit. Okay, take the video because Mariah and I are moving, and we don't have time for any wardrobe malfunctions.
No,
we don't have time for that, Mariah. Okay,
what's going on?
So tell me a little bit about your tree here. I'm gonna help you up. Hold on.
I just heard it. I'm good. I just have to use the color.
Okay. So this is Mariah, or one of Mariah's trees, as she puts on her Paraboo
Asian provocateur slippers. These are Monroe's favorite.
Because that should be on everyone's Christmas list.
They should be, if they're still making them.
Okay, Mariah, tell me about the tree here.
Okay,
these peonies.
Some peonies. I think you kept us some pictures during the break earlier where, I'm sorry, to show the moments. And they're just live flowers here. You can smell them.
They are beautiful.
The other day, Z Flowers sent some beautiful, I just have to thank them for sending some beautiful flowers. They didn't send these for free. Feel free to comp them. And we did them because it matches the room. Mario Bawada, the world-famous decorator, did this place. This is the only piece I have left from my house in Bedford. This
now,
piece
do you let rock and roll get in on making
We're going to do that in Aspen.
Okay.
I make sure this is going to be the first year they really understand Christmas in a vague sort of a way. They don't know the total story, but they know Santa Claus and they know all that. And they loved watching the Christmas tree lighting the other day. So we're going to have a great time. Nick loves to dress up, wake us all up at 6 a.m. banging pots and pans. It's not fun. Please, Nick. I'm begging him to not do that this year.
Well, thank you so much for letting us in your home.
Thank you for coming. Let's go finish breakfast if you're going to have a little more.
No, well, I thought, okay, you invited me to breakfast, so, but I'm going to be the rude guest. Savannah, wait for it. Wait for it. Mariah?
Yes.
For Christmas?
Yes.
Yes, all I would want is, I'm not proposing to you, but I'm asking you.
I'm just waiting. Do I
How close can I get to the closet before the end of the show?
Oh, we're close, honey, but that's a different shot.
Can I show one shoe later? Before the end of the show, can I show one Mariah shoe?
Well, we show the Asian provocateur. We can show it again.
You're being nice and saying no?
No, you can see another shoe. Okay. You want to go grab a shoe?
Yeah.
Someone grab me a shoe, please.
We're gonna go back to you guys. Coming up, Mariah's gonna let me show something from the closet.
I'm showing something from the closet. We're getting appropriate ensemble. It won't be too much for morning.
I will never.
And I'm covering her up because she was trying to put my negligees on earlier from upstairs.
What is in the coffee in that house?
Go back like babies and pacifiers.
We're gonna have some fun. Good, clean fun. It's Christmas.
And we'll be counting down the holidays with you as we get closer to the season. On that note, let me remind you of today's headlines. Lebanese leaders condemned the attacks on the army in Saida, defending the military as the shield of security and sovereignty. UNIFIL chairs the urgent tripartite meeting with senior military officers from Lebanon and Israel a day after a Lebanese soldier kills a member of an Israeli border patrol. And caretaker Transport and Public Works Minister Ghazi Aridi resigns from the resigned government. Those are your headlines live on Future Television this Sunday in Beirut. I'm Yumna Naufal, wishing you a good week ahead and a good night. Stay
ولا يجوز أن نقصد في علاقاتنا التاريخية